ladies and gentlemen, is to look very closely at a very exciting country, and that is Nigeria. Rich, incredibly rich in mineral prospectivity and reality. Joining me today is Dr. Abdul Razak Garba. He's the Director General of the Nigeria Geological Survey Agency. So I won't take any more time. Would you please welcome me in joining Dr. Garba here today? And I might ask Dr. Garba now to give us a presentation, and I do make the point that after Dr. Garba has spoken that we'll take questions from the floor. So, Dr. Garba, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon, everyone. This afternoon, I'm going to take a profile on Nigeria. That is in terms of the mineral potentials we have in Nigeria, data availability, our efforts at disseminating this data, making it available for investment decision, and then also mining investment opportunities that has emerged in Nigeria consequent upon the efforts of government to try to see that we de-risk this sector. Country profile. What is important here is that the population of Nigeria, which is about over 230 million, makes it one of the emerging economies in the world. And also, as you can see, the land mass, which is over 923,000 square kilometers, makes the geological framework very interesting and conducive for all types of mineralization. As you can see, we have basement rocks, which we have all types of minerals, especially metallic minerals. We have the younger granites also, where we have tin, rare earth, niobium, tantalum associated with it. The sedimentary series, we have all sorts of industrial minerals that you can think of, limestone and so on, and even lead zinc mineralization within the sedimentary, and also the tertiary and recent volcanics. In a nutshell, Nigeria has about 44 types of mineral occurrences, which has been identified in over 500 locations. And this includes metallic minerals, energy minerals, industrial minerals, and all other minerals that you can think of in basement terrains. Nigeria is endowed with what we call metallogenic provinces, where you have metallic minerals within the western part of the country. And in the northern part, north central part, you have within the Yogan granite, as I mentioned earlier on, you can see tin, niobium, and tantalum. And then within the sedimentary terrain, you can see lead, zinc, and barite mineralization. Recently, with the advent and the finding of hard rock lithium in Nigeria, a new metallogenic provinces have been identified, and this is what we have in the central part, running northeast, southwest, where we have, and also in the southern part of the country, we have mineralization, lithium, hard rock lithium, tantalum, ore-bearing pegmatites in these two areas. So, resource endowment, we have barite, gold, limestone, bitumen, tar sands, iron ore, coal, lead, zinc. Kaolin also is one important mineral type we have found in Nigeria, which is in abundance, that is industrial minerals. Our data availability, geological maps, as you can see, the map of Nigeria, a significant proportion of the country has been mapped on 1 in 100,000 scale. Where we don't have the published data set, that is in terms of map, we still have the field map, and work is ongoing in producing the data set on geological maps. We also have geochemical maps available for some part of the country. Recently, we have embarked on high-density sampling, 1 in 2 to 2.5 square kilometer sampling in parts of the country. This is in essence to provide evidences and data sets for exploration, exploration targeting definition in the country. Also, we've done airborne survey before in 2007. The earlier one, which we have not total national coverage, we have was done on 80-meter terrain clearance and line spacing of 500 meters. There is an ongoing airborne in conjunction with Excalibur, and that we have acquired up to 81% coverage of the area enumerated, and this is within what we call the proof of concept area. The proof of concept area are areas we have identified from the last airborne survey to have enrichment in some certain minerals. Now, the essence of this is to provide high-resolution data set, airborne data set for investment decision making. We also have what we call exploration research and data, the National Integrated Mineral Exploration Project, which aim at generating bankable geoscience information in greenfield and brownfield setting through integrated exploration methodologies. And the deliverables, as you can see from this chart, is one, essentially to identify targets, geological constraint reports, and then finally, what we call a competent persons report on each of the identified targets. For example, as you can see, this is the schist belt, some of the areas that we have worked in, and some of the data set that we have generated in this particular location where we have drilling. It shows the potential for what we call low-grade, high-tonnage nickel, chromium, cobalt mineralization in part of northern Nigeria. Also, our peg metals, as you can see, the percentage, we have up to 7.5% lithium oxide content in some of the locations where we have done some activities, which includes also drilling with large intersection of lithium or spodumene-bearing intersections within this area. We also have lead zinc investigation that has been done, where drilling has been done and data sets have been acquired in those areas. Publications. Nigeria, we have quite a lot of publication bulletins, occasional papers, records of geological survey, maps, geological, airborne, geophysical, geochemical. We have map album of the country showcasing the mineral resources of each state of the country. And also we have some target exploration reports across the country. Our data dissemination infrastructure. We have what we call a National Geodata Center, which hosts a lot of information, which includes over 100 years data sets, which we have with the British Geological Survey. And the essence of this is that we have what we call a central server in NGSA, one in Kaduna, that is our laboratory, and one in a sister agency. We also have what we call a mineral resources decision support system. Now, what this does is that it allows you, it has front-end and back-end schema. It allows you to assess geological information integrated with mineral resources, infrastructure, water resources, and so many social data sets whereby you can query and look at, for instance, a particular area where you are interested in making investment decisions. What are the infrastructure? What is the social situation in those areas? We also have a lot of our data set on our website. That is the Nigerian Geological website, where we have a lot of resources, including maps, airborne data sets, geological maps, geochemical maps, which downloadable information that you can use. Nigeria has moved from the older system and has engaged what we call, or we are into what we call electronic mining cadastral system. And this is what we call scalable modular system, fully based on IT system. The advantage of this is it allows for ease of doing business, real-time availability. You can apply for a license online, and it reduces the time you need to process your application, especially if you are interested in licenses. It reduces the use of paper and, of course, the total cost of operation. The licensing regime in the country, we have different types of licenses: reconnaissance permit, exploration license, small scale, mining lease, quarry licenses, quarry lease, and mining lease and water permit, and the rates which you pay and the lifespan of these licenses are enumerated in the presentation. Now, imagine opportunities in Nigeria, as you can see. Nigeria is an emerging nation where mining companies are interested in. Opportunities occur, or you can find them drilling service providers, mining contractors, bulk transport, warehousing and secure storage, inspection sampling, analytical services, environmental impact assessment specialists, and also international financial and legal services can come into the country and operate. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Dr. Garbutt, on that. We have about 10 minutes or so for questions from the floor, and I invite you to think on that, but as the prerogative of the host here, I have the opportunity to ask the first question. Dr. Garbutt, you touched on discussion of the National Integrated Exploration Project, or NEMEP, as we know it, Phase 1. Now that's all fine, but what is government doing to sustain the efforts of what we'll call Phase 2 of NEMEP?
Thank you very much. What we are trying to do is that the Phase 1 of the project itself look at broader areas within the country. And with this, we have been able to identify different types of targets within different types of commodities we have looked at. If you take, for example, on the Lot A1, where we did work on different type of gold mineralization we have in the country, pockets of areas have been identified. So the Phase 2, which government is trying to promote and sponsor, now will look deeply into these identified targets within the different commodities we have identified, and also do what we call further investigation that will take it up to resource level. With this, our belief is that we can attract more investors, because by that time we'll be able to talk about the resources in terms of tonnage for investors to make decisions. Thank you.
The priorities under NEMEP Phase 2 there, what commodities might be your priority commodities, and are they what we term the strategic or critical minerals?
Well, our priority this time out will be looking at what we call energy transition minerals, essentially within the pegmatite belts where we have identified high-grade hard rock lithium. Certainly, we will look at those areas. We have copper also mineralization in Nigeria. Manganese is there and so on. So these are the areas we are going to focus. Basically, we look at energy transition minerals.
Okay, fine. Questions from the floor. Sir, do we have a microphone here? You can always rely on a lawyer for a good question.
Thank you so much. Again, for those who weren't here earlier, my name is Syed Muaz Shah, and I represent the Islamic Chamber of Commerce, Industry and Agriculture, which we are an OIC-affiliated body that connects all private business interests throughout the OIC world. So I'm so happy that Nigeria, our member state, is also here present in this scenario. As a lawyer, of course, one of the key things that we discussed in the previous two sessions, one on Congo and one on Pakistan, was the focus on mining legal framework and regulatory framework. And in your presentation, I didn't note anything in respect to that, because in order to convince major investments, facilitate investments, is how is the legal framework of mining? And if you can share some success stories or some recent updates, I would highly appreciate it, because we're looking to, in the OIC level, particularly in this industry, how we can help facilitate the development of legal and regulatory framework, develop technical talent, which then will eventually lead to investment. And hopefully we're here as well to speak to Ma'aden, who is the main kind of giant to be able to do that. So perhaps if you can shed some light in respect to the mineral mining legal and regulatory framework and how Nigeria has developed that to encourage investment. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Nigeria has a mining act which was I think it was ratified in 2007. And that mining act, I believe, or from world perception of it, is one of the best mining acts that we have in the world. And government has continuously, from time to time, update or modify through the National Assembly to ensure that what we do or what is within the Mining Act itself meets with the challenges of the time. Because most importantly, you know, with time, sometimes some of the things you have in the Act changes. And This framework is being addressed by the Ministry of Solid Mineral currently. For instance, if I give you an example, recently the Federal Executive Council approved what we call regulatory framework for policy for energy transition minerals. That is, this has to do with mining, exploiting itself, processing, exploration of energy transition minerals. So with this, in Nigeria, we address the issue of regulatory framework for mining industries. And I think what we have in the country meets international standard. Thank you.
Fine. So you have a question here?
Hi, my name is Mansoor Qureshi. We also do some business in Nigeria as well, in tin and in gold. Two very specific questions. One is on logistics, the port congestions and Emirates not flying to Nigeria, etc. Like a lot of mining economics is about logistics, and I was just wondering what the investment pipelines or framework looks there. The second thing is also around tin specifically, you mentioned. You might know that Nigerian tin traditionally has quite high quantity of uranium because of the mixing techniques, etc. Good tin gets mixed with bad tin because of lack of education in the market. So I was just wondering also in terms of small-scale mining operators and their knowledge of how to mine better, if there's any initiatives being done there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. On the issue of small-scale mining, in Nigeria, we have a department, a full-fledged department within the Ministry of Solid Mineral Development that handles the issue of small-scale mining, artisanal and small-scale mining. And at a point in time, we have a World Bank project that looked at small-scale mining in the country and looked at the possibility of formalizing them into small cooperatives that government can manage. Recently, the Minister of Solid Mineral Development mentioned something that small-scale mining small-scale miners, artisanal and small-scale miners must, as a matter of necessity, formalize themselves and register themselves with the Ministry of Solid Mineral. The essence of this is to ensure that we can track most of this artisanal and small-scale mining, and also government should be able to provide what we call support services to this group of miners. I have the pleasure of welcoming the Minister of Solid Minerals of Nigeria, Dr. Henry Alaki, sitting there. So he has been driving the policy, especially what you ask on this artisanal and small-scale mining. But Nigeria has a robust regulatory framework that guides the artisanal and small-scale mining in the country. And the essence of this is to ensure that we manage them and ensure that they do what they should be doing. Thank you.
Okay. So you have a question, and the microphone happens to be right there.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing the information about Nigeria and the investment opportunities in the mining sector there. My question is two parts. The first part is that a number of countries that are looking to attract investment in the mining sector often put riders on that investment, and they say things like, we expect there to be a downstream value-added unit along with this mine so that the miners are not just exporting the ore or the rock themselves. So my first question is there such, are there any such policies that require further value addition and not just pure export of the ore? And my second question is, if there in fact is not such a policy, on the converse side, is there incentive for people who do set up these mines, for example, an iron ore mine, to then set up a downstream steel manufacturing unit? And are those incentives in the form of, lower energy costs or better utilities or better infrastructure? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm sure at a point in time, the government of Nigeria decided to ban export of raw ores from the country. And the essence of this is to ensure that you have value addition within the country, processing and so on and so forth. Then beyond that, at a point in time also, the Honorable Minister mentioned that, look, partnering with companies, you must come with value addition programs. If a company is coming into the country, there must be programs that you have in the overall plan to ensure that, one, you process and also you bring in companies that will do manufacturing within the country. So basically in Nigeria, that is the way we are doing things in Nigeria. Thank you.
Okay, fine. Any other questions here? We probably have time for one more question, so I might ask it if I may. You touched upon, we know geology, life begins and ends with data sets. My former boss, the great Roy Woodall, one of the great discoverers, he led the discovery of Olympic Dam, many others. He said to me, if you don't have your data sets in geology, then you don't have anything. So from the point of view of data sets in Nigeria, how available are these to the investing public and to the organisations or the companies that are looking to explore and discover?
The issue is this. Let me put it this way. You see, when we do our investigation on some of these commodities in the country and we identify these targets, one, there are two things. We have what we call a vibrant mining cadastral system. And incidentally, the Director General of Mining Cadastre is sitting here with me. But most importantly, our effort as government is to, our government side is to de-risk the mining sector by providing geosciences information to ensure that these licenses are available. Now, the assets are being managed by Mining Cadastre, and with the recent movement from the older system into electronic mining cadastre, one, like I mentioned in my presentation, it has engendered a situation whereby we have high returns in terms of the number of people coming, the transparency in the licensing regime, and so on and so forth. Thank you.
Okay. I have one more question, and that is the relationship with our host country here, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Can you just touch on that, where it is and where you see the opportunities in the relationship with Saudi Arabia, given that they're our hosts?
Well, our relationship with most of these operators and things like that is a very robust one, in the sense that they come to into Nigeria, access most of this information either online or they come to geological surveys and take their information for the mining. And it has been a very vibrant one because in recent times we have seen quite a lot of companies coming into Nigeria to take advantage of the information that we have available to establish mining companies in the country. Okay.
Thanks, Dr. Garba, on that. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I'd like to acknowledge the Honourable Minister. Very, very welcome and keen to see you, not just in here, but at the Future Minerals Forum. I trust that the Minister's round table yesterday was very beneficial to you and to your country. And I'd also like to thank Dr. Garba and the Nigerian delegation for making such an effort to be here. So, ladies and gentlemen, would you please join me in thanking Dr. Garba, the Minister, and the delegation.